How are you today?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Nice to meet you. My name is Jake. Like I said, I work with Big Two. I appreciate you taking the time to give us announce that you are, your intentions to run. Of
Yes, sir. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you having me.
course. So let's just start with the record, please. Will you do first name, last name, spell them out for me?
Yes, sir. My first name is Stevie Vargas, Stevie Vargas.
And you're running for District 4, correct?
Correct, sir.
What schools are in that area? Just so I can say.
Man, there's a lot. Um, I know we got the Lee freshman campus. We've got San Jacinto right up here, right up the road. I'm trying to I'm trying to visualize the map so I can tell you exactly which ones and where. Uh,
We can worry about that later. I was just asking
yeah,
more for my understanding when I tell the story.
yeah, no, and I'll get them for you for sure. I'm just trying to
Okay.
visualize from my perspective on the map what schools are where without trying to miss a few on there.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll worry about that later. So let's jump straight
Okay.
into the questions. Talk about why. What was your motivation for running?
So it started a couple years ago. We started to see a decline in MISD, and I've got three boys that are there, and just kind of seeing once some of the new staff came on and the new superintendent, you kind of see some of the grades going down, the quality of the schools going down, and it's been like that for 3 years with kind of no end in sight. I've talked to a lot of the teachers, a lot of the parents, and they're kind of on the same. I kind of get the same answer every time: is that the school board's not representing what they want, and that they feel like they're not being heard out from the school board and their trustees, their representatives. So I feel like they're being left behind. So I've written some letters and complained, seen no change. So it got to the point where if I'm not seeing change, then I'm going to try and get in there and create some change the best I can.
Sure. And what do you have a background in Midland? Did you go to Midland schools? I know you said your three sons do. Or do you have like background in education?
I don't have a background in education. I grew up south of Midland, about 2 hours, but I've been here off and on the last 13 years. So
Okay.
I've been here long enough to see that the system is going in a downward spiral, and it doesn't seem that it's being addressed for whatever reason that is.
And so just going back into motivation for running, you talk about how, you see problems to fix. How will you fix these problems?
First off, I'll listen to the constituents in District 4. What are their needs? What do they feel is going to most benefit the people for this district? District 4, I can tell you, is one of the lower income. Once you get to the southern half of it, it's more of the medium to lower income household range. I've got a couple of things that I'm more centered towards, but definitely getting out, talking to the constituents. What changes do they want to see made? What do they feel is going to better benefit their children as well as themselves? And just kind of listen and pull from their suggestions on what they want to do as a whole.
And who currently has the District 4 seat? I'm sorry,
It's
I forget.
You're fine. It's Kennedy who's got
Got
this
you.
seat here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel one of the things that you said was that you want to listen to constituents? Do you feel that he does not?
Not. I feel like maybe he represents a small portion of them, and not exactly the majority of what the people out here are asking for. And I've seen that through meetings, MISD meetings, people calling in, addressing a lot of the same issues they've been addressing for the last couple of years, and it's still not being taken care of or handled.
Sure.
So I feel like there needs to be a change. These people need to be represented the right way and to their full capability that the trustees can do. So I feel like I can maybe better do that.
And going into how you can better do that, tell me about yourself. I know obviously you said you have sons here. Why are you qualified for this position? Why should people vote for you?
As far as qualifications, I don't feel like there's really one or two things that really qualify you for this job. I mean, I know it's not easy, and I know it's going to be a tough ride. I can tell you, I've grown up like a lot of these people out here. A lot of them being, single income households. A lot of the time, it's a mom that's at home that kind of relies on the school system to kind of help offset those working hours so that while she's at work, the kids can be in school, and it's not as much of a strain because that parent can't necessarily afford the cost of a daycare or something like that. So she relies a lot on a traditional school schedule, right? And so I feel when MISD comes out and people are saying, well, we need all parents to pitch in $60. And they're like, that's not a lot of money, so you should be able to do that. And it's selfish if you don't. $60 to you and me or someone else isn't like $60 to what a single income household covers. That $60 can be a week's worth of meals for that family, and you got school board members saying that it's selfish for them not to give their $60 basically to pay what they need to pay, and that's not how it works. I mean, we pay taxes for a reason to the county, and a lot of that covers MISD. So on a personal level, I feel like I've got that connection, and not that it better qualifies me, but it makes me more empathetic, and I can sympathize with the lower income people for this district as far as that's concerned, because I know what it's like to pinch those pennies and to stretch out, when you're living paycheck by paycheck, to stretch that out and make it last that entire month. So as far as that's concerned, that's kind of my main approach to it all, as far as why I feel I'd be better suited for that.
Sure. Tell me a little bit more just about yourself. I had to be able to tell the audience who you are. What do you do for a living? How old are you?
I'm 31. I grew up in a small town south here in Ozona. Like I said, I grew up like a lot of these people, didn't have a lot of options coming out of high school. So I joined the Marine Corps. I served 4 years in the Marine Corps, deployed once for a year, got back, worked the oil field for about 3-4 years, realized that kind of wasn't the route for me. And then turned around and went and worked for the state, and commissioned as a state trooper about 4 years ago, December 16th, 2016, and been doing that ever since.
So I guess I have to just ask why the Midland schools? People are going to ask, you're not from here. Like you said, you have sons here, so that can be part of your answer. But why do you have a vested interest in fixing the problem in Midland?
So yeah, I didn't grow up here, but I consider myself a Midlander. As a peace officer, I go to work every day with the general interest of protecting the public, doing what I feel is necessary to keep the public safe. I have a huge vest, just due to my 3 sons. I've got a lot of nieces and nephews that go to school here. And, at this point, I feel the system's a little broken. I've got 2 boys that are special needs kids. And, a lot of, they put a lot on the teachers out here, and there's kind of no incentives for teachers to stay here. So I didn't grow up here, but I'm vested completely. This is where I live. I love Midland. This is where I came back after I got out of the Marine Corps. So, I mean, this is me. You know, I'm part of it, and like I said, I'm vested 100% because I do call this my home, and I want to make sure that our schools have the basic necessities and everything that they need in order to build better futures for these kids to not just make it through school and kind of survive and get out, but to excel, to use this as a stepping stone to excel past high school, you know, past all that, and to make something of themselves, to see that they can truly make a difference, regardless of what background they come from, because MISD is going to be there to help them, to guide them, to make sure that they have all the tools necessary to survive and make it through and excel beyond the point that MISD can provide for them. So, like I said, man, I'm here to help, and I would love to help these people, especially because they feel like for so long they've kind of been silenced and unheard.
And let's hypothetically fast forward to November. Congratulations, Mr. Vargas. You have been elected to the school board. What is your first action that you will take?
First thing I think that needs to be implemented is security within our schools. I know MPD has a really hard job trying to fill those seats. And in today's society, you know, it's a hard job to be a police officer within these schools. And I think that maybe we can implement something that will better help our students. I mean, you got these websites like Goddard Fights YouTube channel and Lead Fights YouTube channel. I mean, so they know that this is going on in the schools, and you know, you've got this extreme violence. I feel like we need to address that, especially when you got kids getting hurt, getting killed within schools. I feel like that can be heavily mitigated through not just police presence, but you know, maybe installing security systems, or you've got cameras in common areas where these are most likely to take place, giving teachers maybe a little more leverage to intervene and interact, instead of, you know, having to wait until a fight's completely over, and in the heat of a moment, you know, that can be life and death as far as that's concerned. Like I said, I've got 2 special needs boys. One of them was being bullied at his school, and it took a month or 2 before it was completely addressed. And ultimately what happened was we got the end result, but it took so long. And the only reason we got the end result was because, you know, there was a terroristic threat that followed along with it. So I feel like that would have been addressed had MISD listened to their constituents. So that's kind of my main focus. Maybe implementing some sort of help for teachers, something to retain teachers. I mean, why are our grades so much worse than, you know, cities that are similar in population and growth, but we're doing so much worse? I don't think it's the teachers. Maybe we need to give the teachers better resources, some sort of retention plan, some help. We can't expect, you know, new teachers to come in that are single and survive in Midland. It's just not going to happen, especially with the salary they make. They're not going to make it a year out here, between bills and rent, stuff like that. So maybe implement some incentives for teachers, some sort of retention program, bonuses, something like that. I see MISD, they spend a lot of money. I mean, surely we can put some aside to better educate our own children. Surely we can find somewhere to build a budget to help our teachers help our children. So those are kind of two of the main things I think we can kind of focus on. Facilities as well. Same issue at my son's school. You know, you got pipes that have been spewing brown water for a year now, and it's barely being addressed. You figure that would be something that would kind of be expedited, maybe some sort of emergency, because you got kids that are, especially in the life skills class, that some, you know, soil themselves. They're messy. They require showers and baths, or showers, I'm sorry. And how are you going to do that when you're living off bottled water? You're going to sit there and shower kids with bottled water rather than fixing the root cause of the problem. We're treating the symptoms instead of going through and addressing what really needs to be addressed. So I feel like facilities, we can kind of step that game up as well, to better our schools. Not necessarily build new ones. I think the bones we have are good. We've got good bones. We just kind of need to improve where we can. And water being so significant would be really important to do so.
So I got you, you know, you talking about anti-bullying, talking about infrastructure problems, talking about teacher retention. It seems like you have a lot of subjects that you've addressed that you kind of have, at least in the back of your mind, that, you see
Yes,
that
sir.
need to be fixed.
Yes,
Are
sir.
there any others that just on, the tip of your tongue or on the front of your mind that stand out to you?
Those three I feel are the biggest issues facing MISD, and I feel like those are the reasons we're doing so much worse than comparable cities of the same size. So I feel like those three are kind of maybe the root cause, at least to me, and the most important to address. Outside of that, that's really all I've been kind of focusing on for the last couple of years. Like I said, I've written complaints to MISD, letters addressing the same issues. So I feel like it's not just for the moment; it's stuff that we've been addressing for the last couple of years.
And Mr. Vargas, honestly, I'm doing this for you as well. And, the person who reached out to me to interview you is a friend of mine. And I wanted to give him, a big portion of this was to give you practice, being able to talk to not
Yes,
just
sir.
media people, but people
Yeah, no, I
in
appreciate
general
it.
who are going to ask you about these questions and maybe the harder questions. And
Yes, sir.
this is not a soundbite that I'm going to use, but I want to ask you about it to give you kind of the chance to practice your stance on it. You said the freshman school is within District 4, so it's very relevant to you. Obviously the school board just voted to change the name of Robert E. Lee High School. What are your
Yes, sir.
thoughts on that?
So at this time, I believe that there are more important things that need to be addressed rather than changing names of schools. If we've got money to go in, change out signage, reconstruct the front of schools to say something else, tear down stuff like that. I feel like we've got money that can address root causes rather than vanity. I feel like it's more of a political stunt put up by MISD. If that's what the people want, then absolutely, I support it wholeheartedly. I know based off the history of Lee, what it stood for then and what it stands for now. But me personally, I believe that money can be used on things that are of higher priority at this time.
Sure. And again, just wanted to emphasize that that's not a part of you announcing your running story. I wanted to kind of let you get
Yes,
those
sir.
words out in an articulate manner, and that's
Yeah.
great.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything I haven't asked you, something you feel that you want to say, emphasize?
No, I think we hit a lot of the main, at least from my perspective, the main points that I wanted to address. Like I said, I don't know exactly what would qualify you for this position, but just from a sympathetic and empathetic standpoint, I can tell you that if these people want change from someone who can put themselves in their shoes and know where they come from, it's definitely me. Um, and like I said, I'll do my best to better represent them because I know what it means to those people. So, but other than that, I think we hit a lot of the main points. At least the things that I'm more passionate about, that I feel are huge burdens within MISD, and things that maybe they've avoided for a long time, and or maybe put on the back burner. But I feel with kind of like with the bond stuff, when all the bond stuff was going through, you know, 600 and something million dollars, and nowhere in there did it talk about, you know, retention of teachers, pay raises for teachers, incentives for teachers. But let's give more students to these teachers. That's already a failing algorithm, and let's add on top of that and make it even worse for the teachers, but let's not incentivize them. So I feel somewhere in that amount of money that there could have been something written in for our teachers. I mean, teachers have one of the most important roles in society, because, you know, they prepare our kids for the real world and give them, you know, skills that they're going to take on to the next chapter in their life. And if our teachers aren't prepared, there's no way that our kids stand a chance to be prepared for the ever evolving economy. That they're not going to be competitive enough. So I definitely and strongly feel that we need to figure something out to retain good teachers and incentivize good teachers, so that they continue to come back and continue to care and give 120% to our kids. That way we know at the end of the day that our kids are being taken care of and their best interests are being upheld.